You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are going to talk about a couple of players who really their role is going to be determined based on performance. Now, you could sit here and say, oh, that's obvious, right? Isn't that pretty much every player, right? It really depends on how you're playing. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but some guys have more leeway than others, right? If Nathan George has a clunker on opening night, or he has a couple of clunkers here and there, his role is not going to change. Same thing with J.J. Starling, same thing with Donnie Freeman. But with these players, if they play really well, they're going to see a lot more playing time. If they don't, they're not going to see the floor all that much. And you can make an argument that these are the two most important transfers for Syracuse this upcoming year. And we'll actually discuss tomorrow the most important transfers for Syracuse basketball more in depth, okay? So let's get to William Kyle, a 6'9", 215-pound center from UCLA with 1 year of eligibility remaining. He played his first 2 seasons at South Dakota State, and he played well. At least his box score numbers look pretty good. I mean, he played an average of about 26 minutes per game, started 49 of 67 possible games. He also averaged 11 points per game, 6 rebounds, and nearly 1.5 blocks. But then he transfers to UCLA a year ago, and he played in 32 games, which is good, but he did not start in any of those games, and he only averaged about 10 minutes per game, and obviously his numbers took a nosedive because he just wasn't on the floor a whole lot. Now, I do believe that William Kyle will be Syracuse's starting center, and hopefully he'll be able to provide good rim protection, because that's one thing that he has done consistently well in college basketball is defend the rim. He's got a high block rate, so hopefully he can do that. However, he's not a player that has a long leash, because you have Donnie Freeman, and Syracuse also has a borderline 5-star true freshman coming in Sadiq White, their highest ranked recruit in their recruiting class. Now, we know Donnie Freeman, barring injury, is going to be the team's starting power forward. But if William Kyle is not playing well, okay, if he's not playing well, I could see Donnie Freeman playing a lot more at center and having Sadiq White be the power forward, which would push William Kyle out of the lineup. Now, you may not like the idea of Donnie Freeman playing center, and I don't like it either. I'm not sitting here saying that I think Donnie Freeman is going to be an All-American center. I don't think that's the best position for him. But if William Kyle's out there for 15 minutes per game at the start of the year and he's looking awful, hopefully he doesn't look awful, but you get what I'm trying to say here, then you can't run him out there that much. So what are you going to do if you're Syracuse? What are you going to do if you're Adrian Autry? Well, you're going to probably move Donnie Freeman to the 5, and hopefully Sadiq White is playing really well off the bench, and you'll probably give more playing time to Sadiq White. You can make an argument that William Kyle is Syracuse's most important transfer portal addition, because if he's really good in his playing time next year, I don't think he's going to play more than 20 minutes per game. But if he plays really well in his short amount of playing time, then he makes Syracuse much deeper, and hopefully he'll also help them defensively significantly. He's really important. All right, so we'll see what his role is going to be this upcoming year. He will probably start the year as the starting center, though. The next player, who kind of has a similar profile, but they're a little bit different, is Tyler Betsey. 6'8", 225-pound forward from Cincinnati with 3 more years of eligibility remaining. This is a former top 50 overall recruit in the 2024 high school class. So very recent that he was a top 50 recruit. But let's be honest, he was not good his true freshman year. Okay, contrary to popular belief, you can believe he's got a lot of potential. I get it. I get a top 50 recruit, right? Obviously, there's some sort of talent there, but his production last year was not very good. He only played about 11 minutes per game at Cincinnati. He averaged 3 points per game, and he was not efficient. 36% from the field, 32% from the three-point line. And when you look deeper and you look at what he did in conference play, it was only 27% from the three-point line. And so for now, he projects as a backup to Nate Kings off the bench, right? But like I said earlier when discussing Nate Kings, Tyler Betsey could at one point crack the starting lineup and play a ton of minutes because he does have breakout potential. We have seen players at Syracuse and across all of college basketball kind of struggle in their true freshman years, even if they're a highly ranked recruit. And then they start to find their form in their sophomore year. Sometimes it takes a long time for these players to develop. Actually, you want to think of two recent Syracuse examples. They're not perfect players, but I highly suggest you look at their freshman year numbers and their sophomore year numbers and how big of a jump these players took. And I'm talking about Chris Bell and Quadir Copeland. They're actually good examples of players who were not very good as true freshmen, but as sophomores, they took a massive step forward in their development. So if Tyler Betsey has a big sophomore year leap, his role is going to grow tremendously. And ideally, what he would be is another shooter for Syracuse basketball, because in high school, he was known as having a really good outside shot. Now, obviously, we didn't see that his true freshman year as far as the production and the percentages. But who knows? Maybe it just clicks for him this upcoming year and his role will expand. But if it doesn't, he'll just be a backup. He won't play all that much.